We have previously seen how other people have discussed the impact of social media on politics. But today, in this discussion, we will rather explore what we found out in our research. Starting from Mardin, my field site in Southeast Turkey, we found out that people concerned with their relations to others has played a key role in shaping political participation. Mardin is a town with a history of political conflicts and violence, and for this reason people tend to not discuss politics in public spaces, such as cafes, restaurants or streets. Public interactions are rather ruled by norms of politeness and respect, and people tend to talk about politics in the private space of the house, with family or friends and with those who share the same political point of view.
Are then people talking about politics on social media at all?
Actually, the situation on social media is reproduced and reinforced and brought even further. I found out that people very rarely talk about local politics on social media, especially when these involve those living in the town. They rather prefer to write comments about regional or international politics. And in those occasions when they write comments and post memes on very sensitive issues, they often end up unfriending each other. But I'm sure that this is not the case only of Mardin. How is the situation in Italy?
Yeah, actually, even if circumstances are so different when it comes to social media, we have a very similar situation in Italy too. Because actually here on Facebook, people express their political views only if they know that most of their friends share those political views. Fortunately, there is another level of political commentary where everyone can agree on, which includes the more general criticism of the Italian state corruption, or more general concerns like high level of unemployment and education and the future of European Union.
Oh wow, Osman, because I think the situation is very similar in South India as well. I've seen people posting on international politics, national politics, and even state politics. But then I've never seen anyone posting anything on local area politics. And I think that's because, like, in some, they like any criticism leveled against a local leader, they are afraid that the leader might have vengeance against them, and then he might actually take revenge on them. Like, so all these criticisms leveled against a political party, or local political party, or local leader are always through private channels, or like, for example, like WhatsApp, or like it's always on a private conversation.
Okay, well that's interesting, because in rural China too, in my field site, actually people tend to engage in political discussion in quite an indirect way online. But one of the key differences there is that people are increasingly turning to social media as their main source of news. And one of the reasons for that is that actually Tencent, the company who own the most popular platforms, WeChat and QQ, actually have journalists who write and publish the news articles themselves, which are then distributed to all of the users, and they appear in between the conversations that they're having with their friends, right? Now, if you actually look at the content of these stories, what's really interesting is, although some of the stories are about kind of corruption and things like this, it's not the case that people in my own field site would actually choose to share those stories online. And even if they do share them online, they would very rarely share anything about their own kind of place. But it's not that people don't care about politics, they really do. And if you went to any restaurant in the town on an evening, you know, you would find people talking, you know, in an animated and engaged way about political issues.
That's interesting.
So we saw that people tend to avoid issues of local politics on social media, or they treat them in an indirect way. People usually assume that political participation in social media is mainly affected by issues that are strictly political. However, we found out that people concerned with social relationships and their desire to maintain good relations with others and the desire to avoid conflict has played really a crucial role in shaping political participation on social media. Thanks.